Tonight on the news at 10, so it begins. The Crimson Tide touches down in New Orleans. The football team has officially arrived. Gary Harris will join us and talk about just what faces them in less than 5 days. And two different groups of people in West Alabama are mourning the lives lost too soon. WVUA visited the memorials and talked with close friends to people to remember the people that were there. Richard?
Yeah, John, coming up to home team weather getting cold pretty quickly tonight. 38 degrees in the city of Tuscaloosa, 37 back in Tupelo. How cold it's going to get tonight? But what about your weekend forecast? The weather's coming up in just a bit. Stay with us.
Plus, with the arrival of fans, LSU and Alabama football merchandise is flying off the shelf. But our Tide fans representing as well as LSU fans. The news begins now.
This is WVUA News with special championship week coverage from Alabama's home team.
And welcome to the news at 10, everyone. I'm John Huddleston. We certainly appreciate you spending part of your Wednesday evening with us. We will get to the news of the day in just a moment, but first, a word about what you are seeing and where we are originating this broadcast from this evening. As you can see, we are actually coming to you live from New Orleans tonight. From now through the next Monday night, WVUA News at 5, 6, and 10 will come to you from New Orleans. We are physically located in the heart of downtown at the Marriott Convention Center. That will be our headquarters for next week, leading up to the BCS championship game between Alabama and LSU. Of course, we have been in New Orleans since late last night. The Crimson Tide actually arrived in New Orleans this evening. For that, we bring in WVUA Sports Director Gary Harris. He joins me now live here in New Orleans. And Gary, what did Nick Saban have to say upon touchdown today?
Well, first, John, does it seem like it's been forever?
It does.
Since the BCS selection show.
And you know why? Because it has been.
Yeah, I mean, it's been unbelievable. And the Tide just getting into New Orleans today. The team finally touched down at Armstrong International Airport just around 5 o'clock or so. Head coach Nick Saban, of course, meeting with the media there at the airport. He said he expects his team to pull together and do what it takes to play their best football game of the year.
Everybody has a responsibility to each other on our team to make sure they're preparing themselves physically, emotionally, and mentally to play what's probably going to need to be our best football game, of the year. So, I expect and trust that our players will do exactly that.
Of course, John, Nick Saban has some strong ties to this state and this city. Coming up later in sports, more on the Tide's arrival, and Coach Saban talks about what a special city New Orleans is to him.
Sure. All right, Gary, thank you very much. We'll look for you later on in the broadcast. Meanwhile, if you are heading down here to New Orleans, or if you would just like to live vicariously through our news reports, we have a tasty treat for you. Cafe Du Monde is a legendary eatery serving up some of the best beignets in the entire world. Matt McCoy tells us what many people call their favorite but messiest part of the dessert.
As you walk through the historic French Quarter here in New Orleans, Louisiana, people are riding bikes, selling art across the street. They're playing music, and they're really bringing the flavor of the city alive. And one of those restaurants that's been doing that for 150 years is Cafe Du Monde with their famous beignets and chicory coffee. Vice President of Cafe Du Monde, Jay Romans, doesn't know how many world-famous beignets they make a day, but this pastry has a hold of the hearts of residents and tourists alike.
We have people that come in from out of town, people that come from Alabama, and came here as a child, and they come here and they have that memory and they want to come back and relive it with their children.
Cafe Du Monde is tucked in right along the French Market. In fact, it's one of the oldest markets in the city of New Orleans. And with a menu as simple as beignets and chicory coffee, I had to try it out. Good. Not only good, but messy.
Very, very sugary. Have napkins ready. Don't breathe out at the same time you're taking a bite in.
Piles and piles of powdered sugar cover not only the beignets, but sprinkles the sidewalk outside and even the people we asked for interviews.
Here,
So from the kitchen to the table, these beignets will remain a staple in the city of New Orleans for some time to come. Reporting in New Orleans, Louisiana, Matt McCoy, WVUA News.
And although we're still 5 days away from the BCS game, you can already find LSU and Alabama merchandise on the streets of New Orleans. Earlier today, our New Orleans crew caught up with the JEB Enterprise Souvenir Shop, set up in the heart of downtown. All week they've been selling Sugar Bowl gear, but now they've switched gears and are selling Alabama and LSU stuff. Tim Johnson with the souvenir shop says right now they're selling more LSU gear, but he expects that's to change throughout the week.
Right now, we're still kind of closing out the Sugar Bowl, so we've seen some Alabama fans here in town, but we're expecting many more in the next couple of days. So.
Obviously, national championship excitement is swirling around New Orleans, but what about other cities along the Gulf Coast? WVUA's Taylor Montgomery has more on how Monday's game is affecting neighboring state Mississippi's tourism industry and how you can still get a great deal on a hotel.
Normally, the new year means a slowdown for tourism along the Gulf Coast, but thanks to football, this year is an exception.
It comes at a time that occupancy here on the Gulf Coast, it would really otherwise be kind of slow because of the Sunday, Monday night time frame, and because it got a little chilly, not so much summery weather anymore.
Salmon says hotels are teaming up with bus charters to save people big bucks on travel to and from the big game.
If you call the Hotel and Lodging Association and you reserve a minimum of 2 nights, then you get free transportation to New Orleans.
Right now, travel packages in Mississippi have produced a total of 16 full charter buses headed to New Orleans on Monday, totaling about 500 people. The increase in revenue to local businesses and attractions is also much appreciated during the winter months.
We don't have an estimated economic impact right now, but we're really excited because we know that not only are they staying in here, in our hotels and bringing in tax dollars for that, but they're also spending money in restaurants, going shopping, visiting our museums and attractions, things like that. So we're really hopeful and thinking positive that this is going to be really great for us.
Taylor Montgomery, WVUA News.
Salmon says there are still vacant rooms available. If you're interested in Mississippi travel packages, just head over to our website, WVUATV.com, and click numbers and links. Well, in addition to celebrating what the Crimson Tide is playing for on Monday, Bama fans can celebrate another milestone today, the 5-year anniversary of Nick Saban's arrival to Tuscaloosa as Alabama's head football coach. This video is from 5 years ago. Several restaurants and businesses around town welcomed the Saban family with messages of support. When Saban arrived at the Tuscaloosa Regional Airport, as you can see, he was showered with attention from happy fans eager to welcome in a new era of Alabama football, something that's no doubt getting extra appreciation this week. Sad news tonight in Tuscaloosa. Someone who gave part of their life representing the Crimson Tide has passed away. Former UA student and Crimsonette lost her battle with cancer this morning. Jessica Harden was diagnosed with leukemia in the fall of 2010. The 2009 graduate contracted pneumonia after a bone marrow transplant in November, ultimately contributing to the end of her long fight. Jessica graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and served 4 years as a Crimsonette. Former teammates agree that Jessica was a leader on and off the field.
Her life and what it's meant to so many people is such an inspiration, not only to me, but to everyone she twirled with, everyone she went to school with, everyone that ever met her just fell in love with Jessica.
Friends and family are also gathering to remember the life of Quentin Miller. They gathered at Beau's Bar in downtown Tuscaloosa to watch a slideshow of his life and to root on his beloved West Virginia Mountaineers in the Orange Bowl. The 32-year-old Miller died in a car accident December 17th of last year. Miller's uncle says Quentin was the type of person who was just so easy to get along with.
At school, at work, at the bar, just walking down the street, he always said that person you pass may be your next best friend. He loved people.
The car accident occurred in South Carolina. Miller recently moved to the state to be with his girlfriend. In your Home Team Crime Watch, you have a chance to help fight crime in West Alabama. Your piece of information could be the missing link investigators need to catch a suspect. Here's this week's Tuscaloosa County's Most Wanted.
Hello, my name is Ted Sexton, the Sheriff of Tuscaloosa County. Again, thanks for your help and WVUA. We have 2 captures in this week's Tuscaloosa County's Most Wanted. Kylie Savannah O'Brien was arrested on the charge of unlawful manufacturing of a controlled substance. She's captured 344. Latoya Colley was arrested on the charge of robbery in the 3rd degree. She has captured 345. What a great way to start out the new year. Now we need your help in finding more of Tuscaloosa County's most wanted. Joey Jermaine White, he's wanted on a charge of burglary 3 and other charges. He's a black male, 22 years of age, 5'6", 150 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Last known to be living in the 600 block of 33rd Street in Tuscaloosa. Destin Thorne Williams is wanted on a charge of unlawful sale of controlled substance and other charges. He's a white male, 20 years of age, 5'5", 140 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. Last known to be living on County Line Road in Moundville, Alabama. Deshari Kendall White. He's wanted on a charge of robbery in the 1st degree and other charges. He's a black male, 18 years of age, 5'7", 125 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Last known to be living in the 800 block of Cherokee Avenue in Tuscaloosa. If you have any information on these as well as others wanted by the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office, please call us at 205-464-8672 or go to our website at www.tcsoal.org. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Working together, we'll continue to make Tuscaloosa County a safer place to live.
All right, well, Richard Scott joins us right now. How about that weather? I never know what to wear nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. And Tori, the weather keeps changing and changing, and it's going to change again the next few days. We're in a very progressive weather pattern, and it was cold out there last night. Temperatures down around 20 in the city limits of Tuscaloosa. Many spots down in the teens. This afternoon, 56, and that's back above our average high of 55 degrees. What about the rest of the forecast and more of those weather changes? Home Team Weather's after the break. Stay with us.
WVUA brings you tomorrow's headlines tonight and tomorrow's Tuscaloosa news. Read how the city hopes to revive its recycling program. Plus, Northport asks for help to make an intersection in Coker safer. And in the TuscaloosaNews.com web poll, do you recycle?
Alabama's home team weather.
Well, a good Wednesday evening to you. After a fairly mild afternoon, a cold start to the day. Temperatures getting cool again after sunset. 38 degrees back in Tuscaloosa, 42 down in Demopolis. A little bit warmer down to the south. Still cool temperatures, but not near as cold as it was this time last night. One of the cold spots actually Fayette, reporting 32 at this hour. Jasper over in Walker County, 38 degrees. Birmingham checking in at 40 right now. The southeast, we're dry. There's some cloud cover moving in from the west, and see some of those clouds on our satellite and radar composite. No rain under those clouds. In fact, the atmosphere in the lowest 10 to 20,000 feet, extremely dry, so don't expect any rain over the next 24 hours. That will change as we go towards Friday and Saturday. Here's our forecast for our Thursday. You've got plans out and about looking great. 52 by noontime temperature. In fact, 58 later in the day. So again, kind of like yesterday, temperatures, or today rather, temperatures will quickly increase again. Upper 50, some spots could hit 60 tomorrow, especially over Southwest County, Sumter, and Marengo counties. Could hit that 60-degree mark tomorrow. Surface high off to our south and east now. We're starting to get a south flow, some moisture levels beginning to rise a bit, and really much of the nation quiet right now. We have some snow across the northeast, and that is about it in terms of active weather across the lower 48, and that will change, though, by the weekend. In fact, while things are quiet now, we're going to watch an area of low pressure develop down the south over South Texas. That will bring some rain around here by the time we reach Friday evening and into the day on Saturday. And really, temperature-wise, nothing extremely cold. All the cold air we dealt with yesterday starting to move out. 31 Minneapolis, 25 in Boston, about as cold as it gets across the nation, but still kind of cool down in Florida. 58 in Miami for this time of year, extremely cool for them. In fact, Jacksonville, 35. And even back towards the west is starting to warm up a bit across the central and high plains. 38 in Rapid City. They're the same temperatures as we are here in Tuscaloosa. Temperature's going to get warmer over the next few days. Reason why is their surface high off towards east, giving us a south flow. The Gulf's still warm, so while we have that wind advecting in over the Gulf of Mexico into the southeast, it brings warm air. Through warm air advection, look for temperatures likely to reach the 60s, in fact, mid to upper 60s, I think, on Friday and Saturday. Surface low moves off towards the south and east of us, or just stays south of us. That could bring some showers Friday into Saturday. A really weak area low pressure could be just enough to squeeze out a little bit of rain. On Saturday, should be light stuff, nothing too terribly heavy. More organized showers happen on Sunday and Monday. 31 tonight, mostly clear and chilly. Calm wind. Tomorrow, back up in the upper 50s, around 58. a good supply of sun, and it's going to be a little bit warmer. Much warmer, though, as we go into Friday and Saturday. Temperatures top out in the mid to upper 60s. A passing shower again is possible on Friday. I think the best chance of rain stays south and west of us on Friday. Saturday, light rain is possible statewide for much of the day. Not going to be anything heavy. Rain chances continue all the way through Wednesday as we continue under the very active pattern. Highs in the 50s. And by the way, here's that weekend forecast. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, if you're heading down to New Orleans, 70 on Saturday. A few showers are possible as we go towards Sunday, Monday. Rain chances go down. Temperatures back at the 60s again for New Orleans. And game day on Monday not looking too bad outdoors. Now here's John.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. Well, like we said earlier in the broadcast, we will be here in New Orleans through Monday's BCS championship game. And with that in mind, we thought you might enjoy a look into our world, what it takes to put on a production like this. Here's WVUA's Lynn Brooks.
Well, here's how it works. Once you have one of these, a photo ID that gives you a BCS credential, primarily the media are going to set up in here, in this room. And pretty soon, this room will be full. It'll be hustling and bustling with a real media circus. Well, when we arrived here, we decided, let's just go ahead and set up our own newsroom. And we decided we wanted to be away from where all this is going to be happening. So we're going to travel and take you where our WVUA New Orleans newsroom is. You got to go through the curtain. You got to make sure your cameraman doesn't trip. So we're going to keep going and going and going. So all this is still empty, but if you come way back to this very, very cold room, this is what we're setting up as our New Orleans newsroom. And you can see our crew is working here on a newscast as we speak. And I'm going to take you through the process. Basically, we start out, we're shooting video just with very small cameras, lightweight, so we can get in and around New Orleans very quickly. We're having our meals here. There's some delicious celery sticks left over from a few minutes ago. And once the video is here, we bring it into one of these laptops. And this is where video will be edited. Once we edit it, we send it back to the station in Tuscaloosa so that you at home can see it. Then, when that's finished, we run outside and we find a place that we think you'll find interesting to see on the news. And just wanted to show you a little bit behind the curtain of what's going on here in the Big Easy, and we're looking forward to bringing you lots more newscasts live from New Orleans.
Okay, Lynn, thank you very much. Joined now again by Sports Director Gary Harris. We have 6 people down here in the Big Easy, but we're just 6 people. There's a whole lot more down here.
6 of 800 plus.
Yeah.
Well, we got 2 more coming for the weekend.
That's right,
so we'll have
yeah.
8, and everybody's not here yet. But
Yeah.
can you imagine having to credential and deal with over 800 media members? I can tell you something. It's not an easy task, but somebody's got to do it. It's the BCS Bowl Committee. We'll talk about that coming up in sports.
Also, New Orleans, Louisiana, possibly the setting for Alabama's 14th national championship. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Now, the Tuscaloosa Chevrolet Sports Update with WVUA's Gary Harris.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome back to New Orleans, Louisiana, site of Monday night's BCS National Championship game between Alabama and LSU, and the Crimson Tide has arrived. The Alabama football team flew out of Tuscaloosa about 4 p.m. this afternoon and arrived at Armstrong International Airport in the Big Easy an hour later. The players looked relaxed but focused as they stepped off the airplane. The Tide football team trying to win its 2nd national championship in the last 3 years. Now, head coach Nick Saban and a few of the players spoke with reporters following their arrival in New Orleans. Coach Saban, of course, spent 5 years as the head football coach at LSU, and he says New Orleans is a special city.
This is a special place. It's a special city. It's a special opportunity for our team to play against an outstanding, LSU team who's #1 in the country. We're very proud of what our team has been able to accomplish this year in creating this opportunity for itself, and especially our seniors who have provided the leadership and also have had an outstanding success in terms of their career, in terms of winning 47 games in the last 4 years, which I think is a school record. We're also very proud of the fact that we have 22 graduates in this game, which is ties what we had when we played Texas a few years ago. So we're extremely excited to be here. It's a great opportunity for our team. In the spirit of competition, this is about as good as it gets, and we're certainly looking forward to the opportunity that we have here and the great hospitality that we've always received.
I can't wait. And, I really can't explain how my emotions is right now. I'm shaking right now talking about this, and just to get off the plane, and I couldn't even sleep on the plane. So, I'm ready for this game. I've been waiting for this game for the longest this year, and we made it here, and we're gonna make sure that we try to finish this all right.
I knew some crazy things had to happen for us to end up in this position. So, it was always in the back of my mind, but I wasn't sure if it was going to happen.
Do you feel like they took something from you when they came into your house and beat you on November 5th?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We don't like to lose. We lost at home, and it's just tough to swallow losing. Period.
Do you think this will be a different kind of game than the last game?
Not really. I feel like it'll be pretty much the same, a physical, hard-fought game all the way through.
New Orleans is football crazy right now. The Saints play a playoff game here this weekend before the BCS Championship game on Monday night. And last night we had the All-State Sugar Bowl. So the Sugar Bowl committee and the BCS Championship Bowl game committee, the same committee for both, media outlets. So they immediately turned their attention from the Sugar Bowl to the BCS Championship game, and that meant trying to get a lot more people credentialed. Give you an example, 200 plus media members credentialed for the Sugar Bowl, 800 plus for the BCS Championship game. So it's quite an undertaking to handle this many media members, but somebody's got to do it.
I think we're looking pretty good now. I have to knock on wood on that. There's always going to be issues that come up. We had a couple minor issues last night, but actually that helps us a little bit having the Sugar Bowl, and we look right into the BCS game, and it's just the numbers. We had about 280 credentialed media for the Sugar Bowl. We have about 800 for the BCS Championship.
Well, there's just so much interest in this game all around the country, but for former players on both sides, well, they really are taking this game seriously because pride's at stake. One of the former great Alabama players is Bart Starr. Of course, he's known more for being a Green Bay Packers quarterback, NFL Hall of Famer, but before that, he was a Crimson Tide quarterback in the 1950s. He says that he expects a great game, but this time around, Bart Starr says Alabama is going to pick up the victory.
Well, I'm excited about it. Obviously, you don't see that very often, but because of the quality of both teams, I think it's going to be an outstanding game. You know who I'm thinking is going to win, but I really believe it's going to be a great game, and a lot of people around this country are going to be following it. Well, I don't know about amounts, but I think we're going to win. I am so thrilled with what Coach Saban has done in the years he's been in. He's done a remarkable job with his team. And all of us who are alumni and friends and associates feel the same way. So we'll be out there rooting like mad.
Bart Starr, he knows football. He's also a class act. Let's hope he's right. A BCS Bowl game going on tonight down in South Florida. It's the Orange Bowl. Clemson waited a while to get back, and they're still not ready for prime time. The ACC taking a beating in the bowl season. West Virginia leading Clemson, Dabo Swinney's team, 63-20 in the fourth quarter. The Mountaineers putting a beat down on the Clemson Tigers. That's going to do it for sports from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm Gary Harris. We'll be back with more of the news at 10 right after this.
WVUA is proud to announce the Volt Charity Challenge presented by Tuscaloosa Chevrolet. Today's contestant is Catherine Lee of the Tuscaloosa News, who is competing on behalf of the West Alabama Food Bank. Catherine has been driving the Volt since Monday and racked up over 50 miles and achieved a gas-electric equivalent of 262 miles per hour. That's put her in second place so far. Next week's contestant is Debbie Crawford, the principal of Holt Elementary School, competing on behalf of her school's Relay for Life fundraiser. And this has officially been our first day here in New Orleans, but don't shed a tear. We've still got a whole lot more coming up later on in the week. Here's some of the stories that we're working on for you tomorrow. We'll have a look at Alabama's first practice here in Louisiana. You'll also hear from the offensive coaches and players on the Tide team. And we'll take you to the National World War II Museum in New Orleans to hear stories from war vets who are determined to make sure their legacy lives on. That and a whole lot more will come your way tomorrow on WVUA News at 5, 6, and 10. And that is our report tonight from Louisiana. We appreciate you spending part of your evening with us. For all of us here and for all of us back in Tuscaloosa, I'm John Huddleston. Good night, everyone.